It's the Crisco Kid Block Party. Yeah.
My next guest on the show is Jim Casey. He is a veteran TV producer and CEO of the new app PropQwiz, a daily live trivia game where the prize is in points. It's up to $350,000 towards a real home. Already turning heads at Fast Company and set to launch this August, which it's already out there. People, I got the beta version already. PropQwiz is bringing a fresh twist to real estate. So please welcome Jim Casey, ladies and gentlemen.
Good to be here. Thanks, Crisco.
Hey, thanks for making time, because I know this month has been busy for you. Of course, we got the beta launch right now, new app called PropQwiz, and people think, wait, it's not points, or is it points? But then it's money, and then it's actually all of that kind of wrapped up in one, really.
It is. It's everything. What we've really done is we've gamified this national trend of everyone being obsessed with real estate, right? Everyone's going on and browsing all the the Zillows and the Redfins and the and the Realtor.coms, and we found that just like Zillow alone has 200 million unique visitors a month. So, and 78% of these people are really just doing it for fun. They're not really looking for a house. I know that's not the greatest news for you being a realtor,
right?
But they're just doing it for fun. So we said, well, wait a minute. You know what? Exactly. Right. Everyone is they're just kind of lying in bed and they're quizzing each other. And we thought, what if we capture that and we gamify it and we make it so that there's an awesome prize. So we're doing weekly prizes. If you get on the leaderboard and you have closest guesses, you have an opportunity to win your free rent or free mortgage payment, $2,500. But the big grand prize, and this is kind of the Mac Daddy, is the $350,000 prize. So what we're trying to do is we're giving away the opportunity to buy a house, especially for those who don't have that opportunity.
Yeah, and I've also seen on your social media, go ahead and give them the Instagram right now.
The Instagram is PropQwiz, PropQwiz.
How does that feel when you get to actually be a part of giving out that rent money?
It's actually the greatest feeling, because I'm very, very close to this. I actually am inside the mascot. I am the mascot, at least at this phase in the company's history. I'm the mascot. So I climb inside this suit. And I get to drive to these people who we ambush them. They don't know we're coming. And people ask me that. They don't know. So I'm driving there and I got butterflies.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what it's going to feel like when we actually get to give away a home, the 350 grand. But as I'm driving there, I get anxious because I'm going to meet this stranger and say, here's $2,500. It's a great feeling.
I would think it kind of feels like almost a little bit like the back in the day, the Publishers Clearinghouse, and then also like Undercover Boss, because you being the CEO, this has got to mean a lot because you're actually boots on the ground. You get to experience that emotion firsthand, like you just said, when giving that check, when presenting that money, but then you're also seeing the operations to where as this grows, you're seeing what it should be and how everyone involved should have that feeling moving forward.
Absolutely. And that's kind of where it all started. The vision in the beginning, it stemmed from my wife and me, walking our dog, seeing a house for sale. And one of us would grab the little flyer because, 10 years ago, that's what everybody did. And we'd quiz each other. And it was really fun to do in our own neighborhood, but it was a lot more fun to do in places that were unfamiliar to us, right? Because we live in Southern California. Real estate prices are just ridiculous. So when we're traveling to upstate New York or Maine, it's a completely different thing. So the vision at the time was, wouldn't it be cool? We had this thought of, wouldn't it be cool to show up and award people these things as this mascot? And I really didn't think it would happen so accurately to what the vision was, to have it. And my wife will always say to me, like, you remember how this just started with this kind of funny idea, and there you are in this suit, and she goes along on the shoots a lot of times. So to see it all go so fast, move so fast toward this, and actually have the vision be so accurate to what it started with, and be able to hand money to people, it's just awesome. It's really cool.
Let's talk about the business side right quick,
Yeah.
because you said, how it started. And every businessman or woman, business person, entrepreneur, it starts with a vision, right? Then you got to prepare, you got to put the plan down, you see the steps, and by the end of your preparation, hopefully the vision, it comes into fruition, right? That's your baby, that's the flower as it grows. But the entrepreneurial side of you, because you've had many successful TV series, right? And I know some of that being on HTV or HGTV. As far as real estate, has this always been, I mean, do you have a license, or has this always flipping or investing? Has it been something kind of in you and you were thinking, I want to explore a little bit more?
It's funny. I grew up in a real estate home. Both my parents were realtors. My dad was industrial. And when you're a kid, industrial real estate is not exactly sexy. So it's not like, hey, I want to grow up to be that guy and tour truck terminals. It just wasn't really my thing. My mom her second career was as a residential realtor, but I was mostly I was mostly an adult by then. But my oldest brother's real estate. My middle brother has his license. My sister has her license. I'm the only one in a family of six that doesn't have his real estate license. But I've always been fascinated about it because I'm just kind of fascinated by just homes. There's something just awesome about being able to give somebody a place to live. And right, I mean, what is more relatable than a home? Not everybody wants a Lamborghini. Not everybody wants a boat. Everybody wants an awesome home. And no matter what age you are, no matter what socioeconomic level you're at, everyone wants that. So what happened was the business part of it is I am, as a producer, a TV producer, my thing was always, look, I'm an idea person. And I know enough about the business side of it, but I have really trusted allies and partners. I went to my buddy Alan Winters. I'm like, I have this idea. I did calling it cocktail napkin math would be flattering me. It was like I just kind of did the math of what it would be to make a TV show and said, okay, it costs about $350 to make a TV show. What if we take that $350 and we just give it away as a prize and we make the show, and make it a game, keep the cost low and use that money to give to people. So, I brought on a number of different friends who have much better business minds than me for the actual math, Alan and Daniel and Jack. And that's where that's where it grew, because I started with this germ of an idea. I think we can do this. It's kind of a game show. And then we put our heads together and figured out how to really make it sustainable and profitable. It's all ad sponsors. It's all ad generated.
What I find interesting, though, and speaking on the business side, and this is kind of the realtor nerd and always looking on the back end of an app, right? Especially with AI and looking at different ways to build things, build your agents, to build whatever you're building, right? I'm looking at this as just another genius way for data collection, right? This is an ultimate CRM type situation, to where you're gathering information, you're kind of seeing what your client or your customer really wants, what they're being attracted to. I love how you can favorite the listings as well, because if you're an agent, I would think that this is a great way for me to say, you know what, hey, Jim, I would like to partner with you. How can I get involved at the local level and be an agent that helps you, or somehow I can help some of these people, put them on the path to home ownership? Is that part of the plan? Am I thinking ahead, or what's going on here?
I will send you the paperwork for our partnership as soon as we hang up. Thank you for seeing that, because here's the way we see it. This is a win-win-win-win-win-win-win. There are no losers. It's not like we're taking a home from someone and giving it to someone else. This isn't it Survivor. This is something, I know you do a lot of philanthropic stuff. This gives us the opportunity to make an awesome, fun game that people get to play, that they get to win money towards the rent and mortgage. It's completely free. They can win a home, $350,000 towards a home. It helps realtors. It helps the market. And our ultimate goal is, look, right now, if we give away, let's say we give away a home a month. Let's just say, we start conservatively. That's 12 homes. That's not nothing. That's 12 homes that we're giving away to people who need them. But if we become as successful as something like Wordle, we've done the math. We'll be giving away a home a week. Life-changing for 52 people a year. And that's that's the middle ground. We want to be able to give away a home a day.
Wow.
Right. And now you're talking about something huge where we're really able to change things, but in the meantime, people having a really good time playing this game. I mean, people reach out to me all the time. Oh, I just played the game. Oh, I was off by 3 million. And I'll tell you what I hear a lot. A lot of people, one of the barriers of entry for us is people saying, it seems too good to be true. I had this conversation last night. I was at this benefit and somebody said, well, how can you give away a home? And the math doesn't make sense. I'm like, it makes total sense. For nearly a century, we have been paying for radio, television, now podcast with advertisers. It's the simplest formula in the world. So what we're kind of doing is we're creating a platform and we're saying, the more you guys play, the more homes we get to give away. All you got to do is watch a commercial once in a while. Maybe you buy the products we're not going to inundate you with all that stuff. It's just like, this is the deal. You watch my TV show and you're going to have to watch a couple of commercials or pay a subscription. In this case, it's just a couple of ads. And that's the cable model. That's the network model. That's the podcast model, for the most part. And that's the same thing.
And I think most people are willing to do that. And when you mention barrier of entry, one thing that's important with NARUP, and for those that don't know, the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, we're the largest Hispanic trade organization in the country. I'm approaching 50, 60,000 members in that range across the country. Our chapter does really well here in Greater Phoenix. But one thing, as serving as president this year, I've got the privilege to have a lot of conversations with whether you're a renter, someone who was a homeowner looking to either buy another investment property or maybe just sell because right now the market is a little challenging for you, right? And taking those distressed homes and helping them find a different situation. But when we talked earlier, you mentioned like creating wealth or opportunities for growth, right? Creating generational wealth is extremely important to us. I love how this is actually a stepping stone. And I mentioned that earlier, but just to get people into what homeownership looks like, and then they'll be able to take that, hopefully get some equity and be able to get their second property. I mean, are these things that kind of, I know your family comes from real estate, but you've seen this firsthand, how people can become multimillionaires through real estate. Is that part of the mission as well?
Absolutely. I mean, and that is why we structure it the way we do with the $350,000. People have said to us, well, why don't you give away a home, an actual home? I'm like, well, there's two major things wrong with that. First of all, what if I give you a home where you don't live or don't want to live? Now I've kind of saddled you with a burden instead of giving you a prize, right? And then you have a choice to make. Do I rent it or do I sell it? Now you have to sell it. But there's one other really big thing. You got to pay the taxes. You got to pay the income taxes by the end of the year. So now I've given you this burden. And most of these people who win cars on game shows, they don't drive the car home because they can't afford the taxes. Right? So that's why we wanted to do it this way, to give people an opportunity to get in the market. Because that's the thing. Once you're in, then you have something to trade up and trade up, right? You know this, you're a real estate guy. It's like getting in is the hardest part. And, I've worked in television for 35 years and I've had a lot of people work for me and they're, members of crew. And they'll say to me like, I'm living in LA. I'm never going to be able to afford to buy a place. And what we want to do is most of them are paying in rent exactly what they would be paying in mortgage. The only thing that separates them is the down payment. So we're like, if we can give you that down payment, you can get in the market. It's not going to cost you any more than it already did for you to live. And now you got a house. And now you're paying equity into the house. That's the formula.
I'm with it, Jim. I put this message that I will be speaking to you in our board chat, a couple of other realtors. And I think this is more realtor talk right here. But I think this is gonna be super helpful.
I'll try to hang.
But one question is PropQwiz buying the house and then gifting it to the winner? We've already talked about that. So Luke took care of that question for you. This is more on the taxes, kind of how you talked about as far as the ownership or maybe with the deed, but this is kind of like, are there any liens on the home once someone wins it? But I think we've already answered that, because when we know that you are gifting the money towards that purchase, not the actual home, then that lien is not something that they have to worry about.
Exactly. And I'll go one step further. What we're actually doing here is when you can take the 350 towards real estate, or you can take 175 cash. Let's say you own a home. Let's say you don't want the responsibility of owning a home. You can say, you know what, I'm just going to take half. I'm going to take $175,000 and go my way and buy a sports car. You can do that. What we're saying, though, is we want to encourage people to get into owning their own home. So what we're saying is you can, any of the 350 that you use towards real estate, you can also use that to pay the taxes on that money up to the 350. So you can use any of the 350 to buy real estate, to pay off a mortgage, to pay into a mortgage, to make a down payment, plus anything that's left to offset the taxes from the money that we give you.
Y'all thought of everything. I mean, I love this. I love this. It checks so many boxes. It creates so many opportunities. And even if they're not familiar with the 1031 exchange. So I appreciate, because a lot of people don't even, 1031 exchange, what is that? You're going too deep, Crisco. I'm sorry. But these are things that every homeowner or business owner should know what to do with their property, right? But I think one more question here, and this just locally in Arizona and specifically in the city of Phoenix, they passed the ADU law to where now in a single family residence, whether you're zoned for it or not, you can create a multifamily or add a casita. It's the casita law, what people call it, and an ADU on the property. Now, could they use this money to actually build that ADU to create that generational housing on the property?
Yes, that's the short answer, because what we're trying to do again is create housing. So here's our rule. If you can live in it, we'll pay for it.
Come on, Jim Casey. We're excited. So look, they can download the app right now. I mean, I did literally earlier this week, and I actually have a couple of phones here. It's on all the phones, but I've read the rules, I've read the regulations, and I just feel like it's something fun for me to play. Can other agents or lenders or anybody in real estate, plus whoever wants to play, is it open for everybody?
Yeah, it's open for everybody. If you're an employee of the company, you can play, but you can't win. Okay. Everyone's very clear on that. And yeah, it's open to everybody, because we know that, look, the minute you start looking at property, you have knowledge. So we can't just eliminate everybody who has some knowledge of real estate. So yeah, I mean, we're inclusive. We know that realtors are going to jump on, and we're finding that a lot of people who are just amateur realtors, they're not brokers, they're not agents, they just love real estate. They're exceptional at this. What we also have found is people in Southern California are quite terrible at it, because we're so warped. We, like, when you try to guess the property in Maine or in Michigan, we are terrible, because we are just our perception of real estate prices is so warped from living in California.
I'm going to drop one of these on them. That's what they're hearing all day when they're trying to guess that. All right, so everyone, download the app. It is so easy to find on all the platforms. PropQwiz. Right now, it's beta testing, but it gets better every day. You're giving out rents. You're giving out the points that they can collect towards the house. And it's kind of cool, because there's a little house, right? And I think the more points it kind of accumulates, and then you get entered for the actual, the contesting for the money for the house, correct?
So that's our gauge of, because the more people who play, the faster we get to give away a home. And we want to give away that $350,000 as soon as possible, and then do it again and again and again. So that gauge is the way of calculating how many people are playing. And the more you see that, as soon as that gauge, all those houses get filled up to the end, we give away a home.
And Jim, here's the big announcement, though.
Tuesday, we go with the big public launch, with the nationwide public launch. And again, everyone's prop ticks carry over, but Tuesday's the big day.
PropQwiz, QWIZ. We're trying to give away a house a day. That's the goal. A house for whenever we can, a house a month, and then a house a week, and a house a day. How incredible would that be to change everyone's life, or as many lives as we can? Jim Casey, all the social media, if they have more questions, they want to get more involved, where would you like everyone to go?
Everyone should just go to our Instagram, PropQwiz, PropQwiz. and send us all the and or our website, propquiz.com, propqwiz.com. And I want to get listings from you. Crisco, send me your listings, man.
I will send everything, but Jim, I got to go because I think at 12 o'clock we're going to start playing another game right now, so I got to cut it short. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Like that. I'm just trying to win a home.
Good luck to you.